Hey everybody, it's Chris, and tonight we're looking at the Fuji from Latitude 64. It's their newest overmold release, and it is going to be an overstable midrange. Now when I say overstable, I don't mean Justice or Anvil overstable, but instead I mean verdict, pine, anchor range overstable. So what I'm talking about is those really nice flat thrown discs that hold that nice straight line with that super reliable fade at the end. So in this video you're going to see me throwing it in the field, you're going to see me throwing it on courses. My primary comparison tool is going to be the Protobar Verdict. I use the Verdict a lot because it is a disc I bag, so I know what it's going to do, and it allows me to talk better about, in this case, the Fuji for you. But I also am going to include the anchor. It's a promo anchor, and that will appear, and possibly a pine. We'll see how the editing goes, so don't count on it, but it could be a nice bonus, a nice third disc to compare to as well. So how did the Fuji fly? Well, I thought it stacked up very nicely against all those discs. I found it to be just a touch slower than the Verdict. I didn't get quite as much distance out of it, but that's my experience. Yours might be different. But it does hold that, like I said, it holds that beautiful flat line with that reliable fade. Where I thought it really excelled is the line I normally throw the Verdict for anyway. I love open field targets or in the wood targets, being able to put it up on a nice hyzer loop, just getting it up, letting it slam back to center. Now in that range for me, like that 270 to 290 range I love throwing that on, I was putting the Verdict, the Fuji, and the anchor within 10 feet of the target pretty regularly. Not all the time, because I'm not amazing, but I had more than once where I could have taken a picture. Here's the basket, here's 3 discs right there next to it. So if you're looking for an overmold complement to the Gobi that's overstable, this could be your disc. Or if you just haven't found that right fit in that slot, give this one a try, because it might fit for you. I don't know if I have much else to say, so I'm going to wrap up by saying if you have any questions or comments, as always, please put them below. I love getting back to you and having those discussions, further fleshing out the ideas that I forget to talk about here, and be looking forward to the Warhorse review. I did finally get my hands on a stiletto, and because there's a stiletto, there's also a guest thrower who owned the stiletto, so you'll get his thoughts on it as well. But as I said, questions or comments below so I can get back to you, and as always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the footage. Have a great day. Alright, so let's head out to the field. If you watched the short preview clip I put in the previous review, you've seen a few of these throws, but here's just a nice 70% power, a little bit of hyzer on the Fuji, just to give an idea of how the disc flies. Comes back just a little past center on that nice fade line. First comparison, 70%ish power, just a nice loop, fairly flat. Watch the 2 discs fly. They weren't on the exact same line, but the disc that started more right is going to finish more right. Very similar flights. For this third throw, I'm going to up the power to about 80%ish. The Verdict's going to be a little bit higher, and because of the tailwind, it's going to stall out and fade just a little bit harder than the Fuji will. The Fuji with that flatter throw is going to glide left just a touch more. And then this last throw, both of the discs are going to get up in the air higher than I expected. Again, that tailwind is going to cause that stability to be exaggerated. The discs are going to come down in a steeper angle because of that stall in the tailwind. Moving over to lapping for testing, as promised, here's the anchor. You're going to see on these next two throws, if you watch the release points, the anchor is more overstable than the Fuji and the Verdict as well. You're going to notice that I'm actually releasing the Fuji on a little bit of a hyzer angle. If you watch it in slow-mo, here it comes here. On the release point, the Fuji's coming out in that slight hyzer release. I'm actually throwing the anchor very flat or even slightly turned over, and they're ending up in very similar spots because of that angle change. The next 2 throws, although on different locations, are the style of throw I really like this type of disc for, this slightly overstable disc. Put it up on a high hyzer, let the natural stability of the disc drag it back to center on the target. You're going to see the Verdict and the Fuji both finish within 10 feet of the pin here. The second throw is a shorter throw. It's only about 240, but it has to get wider and higher to get around all these trees you see on the right to get back to the pin. Both discs, again, are going to end up within 15 feet. The Verdict got slightly branched out, but they're both ending up pin high. Here we go to our last 3 video set. This first throw, really intended to just throw both of these discs hard. You're going to see the Fuji turns out very nicely. It flexes over, and it's going to fade back at the end. The Verdict I didn't get quite as much turn on. It's going to just stall out to the left instead. The second throw is going to be the anchor again. It's going to be thrown a little bit higher than the Fuji, and because of that, the stability is going to kick in just a little bit harder, but both of these discs are going to end up just left of the basket. Pretty routine pickups from there at a 270-ish range. And the final throw of the bunch, Again, with the Verdict, I think this is the closest comparison, with the Fuji just being maybe a touch slower, but just throw them out to the right of the pin, let that natural stability kick in, pick up your easy birdie putts with both of these discs. To wrap up, the Fuji is Lat64's newest overmold addition to their lineup. It's an overstable mid that compares favorably to a Verdict, Anchor, or Pine. The disc will be a great complement to the Gobi in their overmold line and could fit your bag even if you don't have any overmolds in there currently. If you like this review or found it helpful, please feel free to like it, share it, give it a thumbs up, or even subscribe to the page. Thanks as always for watching. Watch the quick tip after. Have a great day. Nice side tip, on muddy or rainy days, always carry numerous towels. There's a reason for that. If you're using one towel and it's just getting destroyed, you're obviously going to need a backup, but here's how I like to do it. I know a lot of other people do as well. I have one towel that's my first towel. It's designated as, it's going to get destroyed. You can see there's a lot of mud on the Fuji. So I'm going to use the primary towel, get all that mud out. A lot of times I wipe it on the grass too, depending on how the grass is. I do a lot of the start work with the main towel. Then you have your secondary towel, that's your finishing towel. It's a little bit cleaner, and all it's going to do is get the rest of that little bit of water and a little bit of mud off it, making your disc nice and easy to grip again. And also it helps with the hand, you don't have mud in your hand afterwards, so 2 towels.